What is up, everybody? It's your boy Bobby from Bobby's Breakdowns, and today we are coming at you with another video. Obviously, as you can tell, I'm getting all festive for this one. We are reviewing Santa's Slay, a Christmas movie and one of my favorites. Before we get into that, my voice may sound a little off. I'm just coming off of something, don't worry, everything's fine, but it's going to sound a little weird. We just got to roll with the punches that are given to us. And otherwise, let's do this thing. So we are diving into Santa's Slay, starring professional wrestler Goldberg, and it is a spoiler review. Now, this movie's pushing 20 years old, so if you haven't seen it by now, you either got to see it or you just got to roll with the spoilers. That's just how it is. All right, let's get into it right now. This movie starts off in a very interesting way because we see a lot of big names in the opening scene. We see James Caan, Rebecca Gayheart, Chris Kattan, and Fran Drescher at a typical American Christmas party. They start praying. The one woman starts praying for very weird things, but then all of a sudden we look towards the chimney. It's making noises. Dirt's coming down, and here comes Santa powering through the chimney. Goldberg as Santa Claus. Goldberg gets in and pumps the dog right away. He stabs James Caan's both of his hands to the table. So James Caan isn't going anywhere. He proceeds to burn one of the women's hair and then drowns her in eggnog. Yes, this is the kind of movie we're getting into. Then he beats up Chris Kattan. Chris Kattan survives, but, he tried to do some mojo on him and it didn't work. Then in the final scene of this scene, one of the women is trying to run away and he throws a Christmas star at her in the back, killing her. What a crazy scene, and this is the start of the movie. It sets the tone, really. Then, hello, Christmas Eve. We go to Hell Township. Ironic, I know, for this movie. We meet Nick, who is working at a sub shop. We meet an old lady who curses out, not one, not two, but all three of the workers in there, including the manager. They get into all political correctness. We won't really get into that. But then she's driving away very slowly, I might add. Like 5 miles per hour, if that. Goldberg is behind her. Santa is behind her, yelling not so nice things, telling her to get off the road and all that. Eventually, Santa just has enough, has the reindeer push her, flips her car completely. So she's done. Then we go back to the sub shop. The boss gets them presents for their hard work. Mary gets a snow globe, Nick gets a clock. Now, that clock comes into play later on. Don't worry. Now, Mary is clearly digging Nick. We go to Nick's house, and we clearly see at first his grandpa's off his rocker. He cut the power just to try and change one light bulb. Completely insane. But then we go to Goldberg. I keep saying Goldberg. We see Santa on the street. A robber comes up to him to try and rob Santa on the street, I might add. And it does not go well for the robber. Santa stabs the robber in the head with a candy cane. It's just, the kills in this movie are absolutely insane. And then he proceeds to throw him in a dumpster. That's the end of that guy. We go to the next scene. Nick wants the truth about Christmas. Not that Santa isn't real, but the other truth, the story about the evil Santa. Then we see Nick's grandpa bring out a giant book. He tells the story. Then we see Mary get Nick a transformer because he said in an earlier scene he always wanted one. That comes back later because he was always upset that he always got an easy bake oven. That comes back later, for sure. Then we go to a church. The priest is preaching about giving money, no coins, no nothing, and you're probably wondering why. Proceed about 5 minutes later, only to find out he's using that money from the church at an adult club. Let's just say that. Then Santa shows up to said adult club. Because of course he does. Why? Why not? We see the valet attempt to park the evil reindeer. Doesn't go well at all. Then Santa ends the other valet with a wreath. It's absolute insanity. He chokes him out with the wreath. Just done. Santa is causing a fight in the nightclub, so security and the random people are trying to take him out. That does not work. Santa then uses said pole to destroy one of the guys trying to take him out, and then somehow causes them to stab themselves. It's a whole thing. Then tosses the pole to the other guy, think he's going to give some mercy on him. No, he tosses the pole to him, kicks a cord, and it causes the guy to electrocute himself. This movie's insane. So we come outside. Santa comes outside. He sees one of the reindeer finishing off one of the valets. You see the valet hat. Santa was happy with the deer that he ate the valet worker. This movie is absolutely nuts. I only saw it for the first time last year, and yeah, it's nuts. We then go back to the house where Nick and Mary have a little lover's spat. Mary leaves, and we find out more of the story. The angel took the form of an old man. Well, we all know who that is, and if you don't, you'll find out at the end of this video. The angel challenged the son of Satan. If Santa wins the game, he turns the old man over to his father for torture. But if the old man wins, Satan has to be nice to the kids for 1,000 years, deliver presents, be jolly, all that. Well, that bet took place in the year 1005. It's 2005, and the bet was for 1,000 years. So the bet's over, and Santa's coming back for revenge, and not in a good way. Welcome to Christmas Day. Santa rolls through the nativity scene, decapitating one of the characters, and it's insane. Then we go to two kids cursing and wanting to open up their gifts. Their heads come right off their body. Insanity. Then Santa goes to the sub shop where Nick works. He impales the boss with a menorah. I know, this movie has a lot of insane kills. And of course he spears the owner. For that, you wrestling fans, you'll like that like I did. Santa then sees the old man in the picture on the wall and gets an idea. Nick goes to a random store to get some gum, and then we get a cameo from the legendary Tiny. Yeah, he showed up in this movie. R.I.P. to that man. But yeah, that was a nice cameo. Nick goes back to the store to see Mr. Green hanging. He's still somehow alive, but not for much long. Cops show up, very comedic cops. They're accusing the wrong people, and they're just, yeah. We won't get into that. Then the cops take Nick to the mayor. Nick tries to tell the mayor that Santa is real and he's coming back for revenge. Nick shows the clock, another hint, and they want to try and get to midnight so Santa can stop causing chaos. Some of the cops are trying to figure out where the next killings are going to take place because it looks like a Christmas tree. Then another cop comes in with a present, and it's ticking. And yeah. Then we go inside. Santa shows up. He tasers the mayor, ends him. Then Santa walks out into the hallway, and we see he ended all the cops, of course. So then we go to Mary and Nick driving. They are pulled over by a cop, which turns out to be Santa. They floor it. He chases after the car. He ends up on the truck. They try and get Santa off. Not working. Nick shoots Santa, but it barely phases him. But he's off the truck. But Santa calls his reindeer. They go back to Grandpa's shelter. Grandpa questions Nick shooting Santa. It's just so comedy. It's just, yeah. The carolers at their house get ended by Santa. Just done. Santa finds the shelter and breaks in. Santa finds the book. Nick and Mary are trying to get on some snowmobiles to get away. Santa sees them on the camera, so he proceeds to walk outside. Santa and the old man come face to face. The old man makes fun of his weight. And, of course, Santa comes back with, well, Mrs. Claus, she's a great cook. Santa proceeds to tell the old man he hates children. He wants nothing to do with them. He wants to torture them because they tortured him for 1,000 years. Then we proceed to see the reindeer run over Grandpa. Santa makes a joke about how Grandpa got run over by a reindeer. You know, the chase ensues. Santa is trying to throw presents at them that are exploding with Mary and Nick. It's insane. Mary and Nick are trying to get away, but Santa is right on them. Then we go to the town gathering. Santa slowly runs down one of the fake Santas, who is the priest from earlier in the movie. Santa knocks out the priest. He's good for now. Nick and Mary go to the high school trying to find a way to get in. Mary breaks a window, but the alarm goes off. Of course, Santa finds them. He blows fire at them, of course, and it doesn't get them. Santa then proceeds to take a smoke grenade in there and try to get them out like that, but it doesn't work. Now, while Santa is throwing the smoke grenade, he's reading A Christmas Carol. Just another comedic, interesting story to this movie. He proceeds to throw the book at Nick's head, hitting Nick square in the head, and Nick is like, "Ah, that hurt." So then they go to the ice rink in the school. Now, why they have an ice rink, I don't know. Nick and Mary almost kiss, but Santa ruins that. Of course, Santa comes in on a Zamboni. Nick flashes a flashlight in Santa's eyes. The old man comes back, like I said, and saves the kids from being run over. He stops the Zamboni with a curling rock. Foreshadowing. Santa reads a note from Nick, who really wanted a mini bake oven. We're going back to that. He always said he was disappointed because he always got one. Turns out he actually wanted one. We have another curling game. If Santa wins, the old man goes into the hole of fire. If the old man wins, Santa has to be nice for good. The old man takes the shot first. He places it right in front of the hole. Great shot. Santa's lining up. Santa doesn't do it. He proceeds to throw the old man in the hole anyway. Cheating, but, you know, why would you expect nothing less? The clock strikes midnight at the North Pole. Santa doesn't care. He says Christmas is over when he says it's over. So Nick uses that nutcracker from earlier in the movie to shoot Santa, putting him down. Santa gets back on the Zamboni and just blows through the ice rink to get outside. Santa gets back in his sleigh, hits the priest over the head with a hammer, ending him. Grandpa can't come with them to end Santa once and for all. Nick and Mary recruit the hunters, her brother and other hunters, to help take down Santa because they want the reindeer to eat. Santa comes towards them. They all shoot. They eventually take him down. But how they took him down is so interesting. Then we see it's Mary's father who took down Santa and the reindeer with a bazooka, because why not? So we see the priest get impaled by a flagpole. They all think it's him doing the crazy Santa things, but they know. I mean, Mary and Nick know, but they think it's him. They take the priest out in the body bag. The hunters tie the reindeer to the truck, because of course. Then it ends with Mary and Nick kissing. Then we go to the final scene. We see Santa in the airport. The airport employee is asking how he pronounces his name. She says Satan. He says it's actually Shaitan. The airport employee asks how many bags he has. He goes, just one. And he places the red sack on the table hilariously. And the movie ends with him just sitting at the airport waiting for his flight. Then we see in the after credits Santa looking at his list saying, "Who's next?" A nod to Goldberg's wrestling career and his eventual return. This movie was absolutely nuts, but I love it so much. It's one of those comedic movies that you just can't stop laughing. 7 out of 10 for me. Goldberg killed it. I watch this every year, as you could tell. And yeah, now I put out on my YouTube channel that I will be doing a Christmas movie review every Saturday until Christmas Eve. The next movie I will be reviewing is David Harbour's new movie called Violent Night. Now that just looks hilarious, of course. Like I said, I'm gonna get all festive for these videos. I just have the hat on now. I'm gonna dress up Christmassy. I feel it's the right thing to do. And in my last video, I'm gonna be recording somewhere else. It's gonna be a nice change of pace for sure. But yeah, like I said, next movie, Violent Night, starring David Harbour. Stay tuned for the next 2 movies. They're newer ones. This is the only one that's old, but I felt I had to review this movie. Saw it for the first time last year, and it was nuts. And now that I have a channel, I wanted to voice my opinion and just tell you guys about it. It's hilarious, but yeah. 1 of 4 movies down, and let's have some fun with this. I'm Bobby from Bobby's Breakdowns, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Later.